Number 10. Terrence Howard. The actor is known for his captivating intensity on screen, and has certainly won him over with fans when he starred as Lucius on Empire, but sometimes art imitates life, and Howard's domineering character was very much a reflection of the actor behind him. His violent tendencies were pretty well hidden from the public eye until 2009, when the Smoking Gun reported that about 10 years prior, the actor was arrested for viciously beating up his estranged wife, Lori McComas. Lori dialed 911 after Howard threatened her over the phone, saying that he was going to come over and hurt her, but it was too late because before the police arrived, he had already broken down the front door of her house and attacked her, punching her in the face multiple times. The actor was charged and pleaded guilty to disorderly conduct, but the incident wasn't a one-off. In 2000, Howard reportedly attacked a flight attendant for asking him to return to his seat because the seatbelt sign was on, and in 2005 he attacked a couple at a diner because they were seated before him. In the years following, he allegedly harmed multiple intimate partners in some of the worst ways possible, but it was a long time before any of these incidents got in the way of his career. Number 9. Arnold Schwarzenegger. He was a star of Terminator who eventually became the governor of California, so he definitely belongs in the world of the rich and famous. But few people know that Arnold Schwarzenegger was a very different person out of the spotlight. While he was married to veteran NBC journalist Maria Shriver since 1986, allegations of Arnold's behavior slowly began to surface, and suddenly his political career was facing ruin. In 2003, 15 women came forward claiming that the actor had them during his run for the California governor's seat. Then came the damage control. In an interview with Peter Jennings from ABC News, he tried to deny the accusations and insisted that no one ever came to him in his life and told him, "I don't want you to do that, and you went over the line." In fact, he went on to suggest that the women had actually timed the allegations specifically to match up with his campaign. But it gets worse. In 2011, an explosive Los Angeles Times report was published, revealing that Arnold had fathered a child with the family's housekeeper in the late 90s. It's safe to say that his marriage imploded because Maria filed for divorce on June the 2nd that same year. Number 8. Lea Michele. The actress and singer was the face of the hit TV musical Glee, playing the character we all love to hate, Rachel Berry. Her on-screen persona was harsh to say in the least, and could be extremely cruel when it comes to getting what she wants. But in terms of her overly ambitious character, it was actually a portrayal of how Lea was in real life, although she did an excellent job of keeping that hidden. It was in June of 2020, after the actress tweeted her support for Black Lives Matter, that she started being exposed for her true nature. Her former Glee co-star Samantha Ware called her out for hypocrisy, claiming that Lea made her time on set a living hell and threatened to defecate in her wig. Heather Morris also came out with her own allegations, quote, "Was she unpleasant to work with? Very much so. For Lea to treat others with the disrespect that she did for as long as she did, I believe she should be called out." Actor Keith Powell tweeted, quote, "Lea Michele is a terrible human and has said terrible things to many types of people, including racist microaggressions about black people." In light of the accusations of racism and bullying being made, the actress was then dropped from her partnership with the company HelloFresh and deactivated her Twitter account. Number 7. George Michael. His talents as a singer, songwriter, and music producer made George Michael one of the world's biggest selling artists. He has sold more than 100 million albums throughout a career spanning almost 4 decades. But behind all of his success as a musician, George had a hidden life. In 1998, after he was arrested for alleged lewd acts in a public restroom, the star came out as gay. He told CNN, quote, "This is as good of a time as any. I want to say that I have no problem with people knowing that I'm in a relationship with a man." After years of refusing to be drawn on speculation about his sexuality, this was a very big deal for the singer. But he made no qualms about admitting how hiding his sexuality for so many years had taken a serious toll on his mental health. In fact, the singer suffered from severe depression after his partner died in 1993 from an AIDS-related illness, and only a few years later he also lost his mother. It was extremely sad that it took him such a long time to live authentically, but he eventually became well known for his outspoken views in support of gay rights, using his arrest as a platform to highlight the prejudices within society. Number 6, Tiger Woods. Even if you're not a fan of golf, you definitely know who Tiger Woods is, one of the biggest international sports stars of the last 2 decades. In 2009, he became the first athlete to earn $1 billion through a combination of prize money and sponsorships. He seriously had it all: a model wife, 2 kids, and of course fame and fortune. But in the same year, the National Enquirer accused him of having an affair with a nightclub manager, and Woods crashed his car into a neighbor's tree at 2:25 a.m. Why the reckless driving? Well, rumors circulated that his wife had learned about the affair and attacked him in their home, which made him too disorientated to drive. Over the next few months, many more women came forward claiming to have slept with Woods during the 8 years he was with her. He eventually caved to the immense backlash and issued a televised statement in 2010, admitting to everything. But it was way too late, and his marriage was over, and some of his biggest endorsements were pulled because of the scandal. Number 5, Charlie Sheen. Known for his hard partying reputation and scandalous life, Charlie Sheen has been making headlines since the early 90s. But the actor had some pretty good PR and really managed to clean up his image after an alleged overdose that scared him straight, going on to marry Denise Richards and landing a comfy role on 2.5 Men. Sheen became a certified sitcom star and eventually welcomed 2 daughters, which really restored his reputation. But behind closed doors, the actor was back to his old habits and worse than ever. It was then that his marriage completely crumbled and the former couple announced that they were divorcing. During a bitter custody dispute later that year, she claimed that he had physically and verbally attacked her and threatened to take her life. As a result, she received a restraining order against him. He was subsequently kicked off 2.5 Men and replaced with Ashton Kutcher, not to mention his infamous 2011 meltdown where he attacked director Chuck Lorre. After that, Sheen's secret life became exceedingly public as he stopped hiding the fact that he had adult film stars over to his house and kept up his very hardcore lifestyle. It's important to note that through all this, he has checked into rehab multiple times for substance misuse and made very real attempts to get his dependency under control. Number 4, Bill Cosby. The comedian was once known to millions as America's Dad, famous for his clean brand of family comedy and his award-winning work with children's programming. The Cosby Show, which was launched by NBC in 1984 and aired for 8 seasons, was his biggest success and established him as a household name. So when the first accusations surfaced in 2005, his public persona was so revered that he essentially walked away unscathed. It was only when other women, 13 to be exact, agreed to be witnesses that Cosby's double life was starting to be exposed. In the years following the first accusation, more than 50 women have come out claiming the star slipped them illicit substances and took advantage of them while they were unconscious. The women all had similar stories, which reportedly went back as far as almost 50 years. Finally, in April of 2018, the 80-year-old was found guilty of 3 counts of SA against Andrea Constand, the former Temple University women's basketball director, who claimed that he attacked her in his home in 2004. Some kind of justice was served as the comedian was sentenced to 3 to 10 years in prison. Although some of his defenders continue to support him, Cosby's name will forever be associated with his crimes. Number 3, Ellen DeGeneres. The stand-up comedian and veteran talk show host Ellen was nicknamed the Queen of Nice, with many people loving her signature catchphrase, "Be kind to one another," as well as her on-screen giveaways and vocal support of the LGBTQ+ community. But behind the curtain, Ellen was a very different person entirely. That all got revealed in March of 2020, when podcaster Kevin T. Porter asked people to post stories about her mean-spirited behavior, which completely opened the floodgates. The comedian was then slammed by past and present employees with accusations of enabling a toxic work culture when the cameras weren't rolling, and found herself engulfed in accusations of bullying behavior by not only staffers but past guests, with some insisting her mean nature is common knowledge among the Hollywood elite. DeGeneres addressed the infamous toxic workplace scandal that saw 3 of her most senior staffers axed from The Ellen Show. One TV writer claimed that Ellen required anyone who talks to her to chew gum from a bowl outside of her office first, and that she often sends staff home to shower if she thinks they smell. Because of the negative publicity she received, the comic has had to wrap up her hit talk show after 19 seasons on air. Number 2, Armie Hammer. Among the new stars who have recently graced the big screen, Armie Hammer really stood out. He had a wholesome image with an all-American crew cut and absolutely killed it in his role as the Winklevoss twins in The Social Network. But it was his part in Call Me By Your Name that really made him a global star. Nothing is ever as it seems though, and he was very good at disguising his dark side. In January, a series of text messages were leaked of him detailing his fantasies of cannibalism. The actor also accused of attacking multiple women and named a suspect in an LAPD case which is still under criminal investigation. His former intimate partner came forward claiming that Hammer viciously attacked her over a period of 4 hours. And not long after, his wife Elizabeth Chambers left him and the facade of their perfect marriage fell apart. She has even called him a monster. The actor was then dropped out of 2 high-profile projects and is now residing in a resort on the Cayman Islands, potentially until the police investigation is concluded. And last one, coming in at number 1, Harvey Weinstein. He was once the king of the indie film world and the producer who dominated Hollywood for decades. Harvey Weinstein won awards for producing iconic films like Trainspotting and Pulp Fiction, but the truth is that he used his immense power and influence in the film industry to take advantage of women throughout his career. There were rumors about his predatory behavior, but they were not necessarily known to the general public. In fact, most people only found out about his double life after his downfall. The scandal exploded in October of 2017 when the New York Times released a report revealing that Weinstein had reached financial settlements with 8 different women who had accused him of predatory behavior. He had tried to squash the allegations with money, but as soon as he was exposed for doing so, his life and career crumbled around him. He was fired from his firm, the Weinstein Company, just before 13 other women came forward with similar claims. His wife Georgina Chapman left him, and in May of 2018, he turned himself in to the New York City police to face criminal charges. In February 2020, he was handed a 23-year prison sentence.
Starting us off at number 10 is Jimmy Fallon. The talk show host was recently exposed after one of his SNL sketches resurfaced almost 2 decades later. A clip from the sketch went viral and showed Jimmy in blackface, which caused a massive social media protest against him. The sketch was from 2000 and showed him impersonating the black comedian Chris Rock and wearing very heavy dark makeup. People were livid and he was quick to apologize. He released a statement saying that he made a terrible decision at the time to impersonate him in blackface. He said that there is no excuse for it and apologized for his offensive decision. Honestly, his apology seemed really genuine, but still, I get it. Probably not a good choice. In at number 9 is Madison Beer. The singer was called out after people exposed her for apparently staging her Black Lives Matter protest pictures. Photos of Madison were shared online by a photographer named Josh, and people claimed that she actually staged them, like she hired him, and people were calling it performance activism. The photographer has pictured her before and has also pictured other celebrities going about their daily lives in the city, so it just seemed kinda sketchy. Twitter users pointed out that people like Ariana Grande protested and somehow managed to not get photographed. Madison shared screenshots of her convo with the photographer, agreeing that he was not hired by her, and said that she will not let the protest be turned into something that it never was. But the people do not believe her. They're just really good photos. Take it as a compliment. Sniping the number 8 spot is David Dobrik. A lot of celebrities are being called out right now for racist behavior because of the Black Lives Matter movement going on right now. David Dobrik, the famous YouTuber, is one of them. He recently got exposed by a former Vlog Squad member who posted a YouTube video accusing David of having racist undertones in his past videos. He actually put clips of content where other celebrities made racist comments and wanted everyone to take responsibility for their actions. But David stands firm for his beliefs and attended the Black Lives Matter protest in his area, and also donated $50,000 to different organizations towards the movement. I don't watch all of his videos, but I really don't think his intentions were to be racist. Yeah. That's all I gotta say about that. Cruising into number 7 is Evangeline Lilly. The Lost actress came under fire for brushing off the coronavirus quarantine protocols that the rest of the world is trying to follow, even though we don't want to. People online exposed her for a post in March when she seemed insensitive to the people affected by the virus. In her March post, she shared that her kids are still going to gymnastic camp and that it was business as usual for her. People started to ridicule her, and she responded with, "Some people value their lives over freedom. Some people value freedom over their lives. We all make our choices." After all the backlash, she did issue an apology and said that at the time of her post in March, it wasn't as hectic with all the protocols and stuff, and that she realized how serious it really was a few weeks later. Which is, you know what, I've been there. I was at Playlist Live when all this started happening. I was making jokes thinking it was just like, you know, just a funny meme. Not so funny no more. Making his way into number 6 is Big Ed. If you've been anywhere on the internet these days, then you've probably seen this man from 90 Day Fiancé all over the latest memes. He and his ex-girlfriend Rose were on the show together, and after the relationship ended, Rose exposed him for some very serious things. They recently did a Skype interview on TLC, and Rose claimed during the live interview that Ed had actually asked her to get naked on camera and said that he would send her money for it. If you saw the show, Rose struggles financially in the Philippines, and she said that he wanted to use her naked body through a video chat in exchange for payments, because he knew that she needed the money. Big Ed denied all of these accusations and actually called them ridiculous, but he still faced a ton of heat because no one believed him. I mean, he is also like 30 years older than Rose, and you guys gotta watch their episodes, man. Their story is wild. We've made it halfway through. At number 5, we have Ellen DeGeneres. For some reason, everyone started to turn their back on her in 2020, and it kind of came out of left field. It all started when a famous YouTuber, Nikki Tutorials, went on her show and said that she wasn't as nice as she thought and that her experience overall just wasn't that great. She claimed that Ellen didn't even say hi to her before the show, and also said that there was no bathroom for her to use by her dressing room because it was reserved for the Jonas Brothers. After her claims, more people just started coming forward with stories, even some of her former staff members and bodyguards claiming that she is not as nice in real life. Hard to believe, because Ellen is like just painted as like America's sweetheart, and she does a lot for people on her show. It's just, you know, it's hard to believe. I'm in denial. Rolling into number 4 is Lea Michele. The Glee actress landed in some controversy after accusations were made on Twitter accusing her of making a co-star's life a living hell. But it went much deeper than that and became an issue about race. Samantha Ware worked with her on Glee, and she said that she made racial comments to her, going as far as saying that she would spit in her wig. Lea quickly apologized and said she didn't remember saying the comments, but was sorry if she did hurt her. From there, other people just started coming forward, exposing her of other horrible behavior, all of which she did apologize for, but has not been forgiven for, because people are not happy with her. It's like one of those things where you think she's really sweet and then all these stories are coming out. Apparently she's just not a nice person. Alright guys, at number 3 we have Jake Paul. The popular YouTuber landed himself on the most hated list recently after he was exposed for looting the Black Lives Matter riots. Although, not gonna lie, he kind of exposed himself on this one. An Arizona mall was completely destroyed in a riot, and Jake Paul was caught on camera when all of it was happening. You don't actually see him steal anything, but he is right there while everyone around him is destroying the stores and stealing everything inside of it. Jake actually posted on his Instagram story, so he wasn't exactly hiding the fact that he was there, but obviously people were filming him and it exposed a lot more than he probably wanted. The Scottsdale PD ended up tweeting out later on that he had been charged with criminal trespass and unlawful assembly. Taking over the number 2 spot is J.K. Rowling. The author behind the iconic Harry Potter series has lost the respect of many people after she sent out tweets that came across as transphobic. One of her tweets said, "If sex isn't real, there's no same-sex attraction. If sex isn't real, the lived reality of women globally is erased. I know and love trans people, but erasing the concept of sex removes the ability of many to meaningfully discuss their lives. It isn't hate to speak the truth." Now, this is just one tiny bit of the lengthy controversy. She actually shared a very long blog all about it. People are now attacking her for her words in complete disagreement. Even Harry Potter himself, Daniel Radcliffe, disagreed with her statements publicly. That's some tea right there. Let me tell ya, Harry Potter fighting with the creator of Harry Potter. In the number 1 spot is Amber Heard. The lawsuit between Amber and her ex-husband Johnny Depp has been in the media for years now. Amber filed for divorce in 2016 and then showed up to the Los Angeles courthouse with bruises on her face, making claims that Depp was abusing her. Since then, it's been an ongoing lawsuit, completely draining the actor's bank account, who has always tried to keep his innocence. But at the beginning of 2020, Amber was exposed after audio footage leaked showing that she admitted to hitting him and actually mocked him, saying that no one would believe his side. The hashtag Justice for Johnny Depp started trending worldwide, and fans are hoping and knowing, fingers crossed, that he will be getting justice in court later this year. There's no way she can win this one. Like, the proof, she literally said she made the whole thing up. It's crazy.
At number 10, Olivia Jade. The 2019 college admissions bribery scandal was one of the biggest controversies of that year. We watched as many wealthy parents were busted for making bribes in order to get their kids into good schools, and there were a few celebrities involved, most notably Lori Loughlin and Felicity Huffman. Just recently, a documentary was released on Netflix that shed more light onto how things went down during the scandal, especially for Lori Loughlin and her daughter Olivia Jade. The documentary Operation Varsity Blues, the college admission scandal, exposed many people's involvement, including Olivia Jade and her family, and it showed how they got her into the school and how they got busted. According to this documentary, Lori and her husband Massimo submitted photos of Olivia on a rowing machine to Rick Singer, the man behind the admissions operation, which he then used to convince the USC rowing team to add her to the team, solidifying her admission to the school. Apparently, things started to unravel for Olivia and her parents because she kept sharing how she got into USC on her YouTube channel, which raised a few red flags. Their charade eventually ended after Olivia's high school guidance counselor got in contact with USC's admissions, telling them that Olivia has never been involved in rowing. Though this scandal has blown over for the most part, this documentary exposed them once again. At number 9, the Kardashians. Over the past year, with COVID affecting our lives, celebrities have been heavily scrutinized by the public for their COVID precautions. The Kardashians are one group of public figures that have faced their fair share of backlash when it comes to COVID because many fans have called them out for being unsafe. Now they're being exposed for their COVID testing and protocols when inviting visitors to their house, and it's casting a new light on the family. American media host Andy Cohen spoke out about the Kardashian wild system to prevent COVID spreading in their households after doing an interview with them, and it sure is wild. Andy said that before the interview, he was put in a car and driven to the Kardashians' quote, preferred testing facility. After getting tested, Andy said that he asked the medical staff if they were going to give him his results, to which the staff member said no. Andy was then driven to Khloe Kardashian's house, where he was then told to wait in the car, and if the second gate opened, that means that he tested negative. Imagine that, waiting in suspense for a whole car ride just to see if you don't have COVID, only to have a gate reveal your results. This kind of has the same energy as a gender reveal party, and I cannot explain it. It's bizarre, but at least they're being safe, right? Now, before I go any further, I'd like to ask you guys to consider leaving a like on this video if you're enjoying it so far, and also head on over to my gaming channel, Viper Girl. I just started a new Pixelmon series, so if that piques your interest, go on over and subscribe while you're there. At number 8, Chris Pratt. During a recent episode of Anna Faris's podcast, she sat down with actress Gwyneth Paltrow and they had a conversation about marriage. Anna asked Gwyneth if her quote, taste in partners has changed throughout the decades of her life, to which she replied that her new partner is different in the sense that he helps her be more honest with herself. Anna replied saying that she never had that sense of honesty in her previous marriage to Chris Pratt. She then went on to essentially expose him for the way things were in their marriage and how this lack of emotional honesty caused, quote, competitiveness and comparison in the relationship. Chris and Anna had been together for 9 years before divorcing in 2017, and though there isn't much information as to why they broke up, there is speculation, and Anna's comments about emotions and honesty between partners may add to fans' interpretations of their marriage. At number 7, Armie Hammer. Now I know that I included Armie in part 1 of this list, but there have recently been developments to this scandal that should be addressed, so I'm talking about him again. Just a quick recap of this scandal. Army was exposed in January of this year for his unorthodox bedroom fantasies such as eating people and consensual non-consent. As a result of this, Army has lost work, having been dropped from 2 upcoming projects, and he's also been dropped by his talent agency and publicist. Now Army is being investigated by the LAPD for an alleged assault that could potentially see him serving jail time if found guilty. This has all come about because a woman who claimed to have been romantically involved with Army alleged that he forced himself upon her without her consent. This woman, known as Effie, gave a statement saying that she was harmed by him on a mental, physical, and emotional level during her on and off relationship with the actor, and that she was subjected to unwanted relations with him for over 4 hours where he committed multiple acts of violence against her. He's once again been exposed for his actions, this time on a more severe level, as he now faces potential legal repercussions. At number 6, Kylie Jenner. One celebrity who seems to always be in some kind of controversy every month is Kylie Jenner. Her actions are always being criticized, and we saw this recently as fans exposed her for her tone-deaf post about a friend's GoFundMe. Recently, Kylie took to her Instagram story to post about a makeup artist friend of hers who got into a serious accident. As a result of this accident, he's now in hospital recovering from surgery, and his family set up a GoFundMe page to help pay for his medical bills. Kylie ended up donating $5,000 to the fundraiser and asked her followers to consider donating as well. Though in theory this was a nice gesture to donate and promote this cause, a lot of people weren't all too impressed with her actions, as some people raised the fact that Kylie is more than wealthy enough to just pay off her friend's medical bills without help from her fans. With an estimated net worth of $900 million, fans just thought it was a little off. Apparently, when Kylie found out about this GoFundMe, $6,000 of the $10,000 goal had already been met, and so she donated $5,000 to push it over its goal. Kylie said that she just wanted to be helpful, but others say that she could have done more. What do you guys think about this though? Is Kylie in the wrong, or is this just being exaggerated? At number 5, Cara Delevingne. In this day and age, people demand accountability from the public figures they follow. There have been countless times when fans have dug up something from a celebrity's past to demand accountability for their actions, but it's not every day that celebs expose their own actions to take accountability for. Recently, Cara Delevingne did just that as she exposed herself for having been homophobic in the past. While on the Goop podcast, Cara opened up about how she was brought up in a quote, old-fashioned household, and how this caused her to think badly of the LGBTQ+ community. In the interview, she said, quote, "I didn't know anyone who was gay. I didn't acknowledge the fact that I was homophobic. The idea of being same-sex partners, I was disgusted by that in myself. I was like, oh my god, I would never, that's disgusting. Ugh," end quote. Cara says that she still struggles with this internal battle because she is pansexual, but thinks, quote, "I wish I could just be straight." The fact that she was able to recognize this in her and talk about it shows a lot of strength, even though she continues to struggle with this, and the fact that she exposed this past side of her also shows how much she's grown. At number 4, the Pope. I know the Pope isn't who you would normally think of when you think of a celebrity, but he is a public figure, and he, as well as the Vatican, were exposed a couple of weeks ago. On March 15th, it was announced that the Vatican would not, quote, "bless the civil unions of same-sex couples." The Congregation for the Doctrine of Faith published a note approved by the Pope that said that though they would uphold their welcoming and blessing of the LGBTQ+ community, they would not bless their unions, saying that, quote, "such unions are not part of God's plan." Obviously, the response to this declaration was very negative, and a lot of people took to social media to voice their opinions on the matter. One of these people being Elton John. As a member of the gay community, he was obviously taken aback by the Vatican's statement, but he also took this as an opportunity to expose them for their hypocrisy. The singer tweeted about the Vatican's support for the movie Rocket Man, a film based on Elton's life. In his tweet, it linked to an article detailing how the Vatican contributed millions of dollars to the making of Rocket Man, and so this resulted in the Vatican getting exposed, with Elton calling them out for funding a film that, quote, "celebrates my happiness from my marriage to David." Elton is here calling people out on their BS and isn't afraid to do the same to the Catholic Church. At number 3, Sharon Osbourne. Recently, Sharon Osbourne was facing backlash because of her comments of support for Piers Morgan and his views on Prince Harry and Meghan Markle's bombshell interview. She got into a heated confrontation with one of her talk show co-hosts, resulting in CBS conducting an internal review. Now more heat is being thrown towards Sharon as Leah Remini exposed her for having used offensive slurs in reference to Julie Chen and Sarah Gilbert on The Talk. This new information has prompted the studio to put the show on an extended hiatus to investigate these allegations. The claim that Sharon used slurs commenting on Julie's eye shape and ethnicity because she is Asian American, and that she also used homophobic slurs in reference to Sarah because she's part of the LGBTQ+ community. Though these claims have been denied by Sharon, this isn't the first time she's come under fire for offensive comments like this, as back in 2011, Sharon also said that one of her former hosts of The View was, quote, too ghetto for the show. CBS has released a statement saying that they're looking into these claims, so we'll have to wait and see what happens next. At number 2, Meghan Markle and Prince Harry. It's been a few weeks since Meghan and Harry's Oprah interview rocked the tabloids, but things haven't died down quite yet, as people are still discussing the interview's topics and people are still picking it apart. There have been people coming forward to discredit some of the things that Meghan and Harry said in their interview, and now they're being exposed for lying about a specific topic. In their interview, they told Oprah that they had actually gotten married in secret 3 days before their televised wedding ceremony. Now we're finding out that this isn't exactly true. A spokesperson for the couple clarified that Meghan and Harry had exchanged personal vows a few days before their official wedding. This clarification comes after multiple sources had come forward claiming that the couple never had a secret wedding. The Sun publication actually obtained the couple's marriage license, confirming that their official wedding date was in fact May 19, 2018, the day that the world tuned into their ceremony. A UK vicar also explained that the Church of England requires 2 witnesses at a couple's union and that it must take place within a certified place of worship to be considered valid, and none of those requirements were met during Meghan and Harry's secret vow exchange, meaning that it was not an official ceremony. And finally, at number 1, Dr. Phil. Rapper Bad Baby, aka Danielle Bregoli, and known to most Dr. Phil fans as the Cash Me Outside girl, recently came forward about alleged abuse that she sustained at a reform camp that she was sent to after being on the show. Danielle posted a video to her YouTube channel opening up about what she experienced, detailing how staff at the camp called Turnabout Ranch treated her and the other kids, saying that she was taken from her home in the middle of the night, handcuffed, and wasn't allowed to sleep or shower for 3 days. She also said that staff used restraints on people and that some people have even claimed to be assaulted while there. Danielle exposed Dr. Phil for recommending such a place and is demanding he apologize to her and anyone else he sent there. Turnabout Ranch is described as a, quote, boot camp for troubled teens, and Dr. Phil has recommended parents send their children to this facility to help with their troubled behavior. Now that people are coming forward about their experiences with the ranch, Dr. Phil is facing a lot of scrutiny and backlash, and is being urged to take accountability.
In at number 10, Chevy Chase. Chevy Chase is without a doubt a legendary comedic actor, but all of those pratfalls that he did in his youth must have really turned him into a grumpy old man. He has certainly earned himself perhaps the worst reputation in Hollywood from being just extremely difficult to work with. When it works, but most of the time he is a huge pain in the you-know-what. When actor and comedian Rob Huebel met Chevy at the Upright Citizens Brigade show, he was so excited that he accidentally interrupted a conversation that Chevy was in. Rob was a longtime fan and just couldn't contain his joy, but Chevy responded by slapping him in the face and then said, "Can't you see I'm talking to somebody, kid?"
Chevy just hauled off and slapped me across the face so hard. I mean, it was like I saw red.
In at number 9, Ariana Grande. Back in 2014, a man named Dan O'Connor and his daughters Jen and Kelly had actually won a contest sponsored by MTV, VH1, and Pepsi to meet Ariana Grande. The contest was advertised as Pepsi, MTV, and VH1 are giving you the chance to win an amazing trip to Los Angeles to hang with Ariana and watch her perform live at this year's MTV Video Music Awards. Dan wrote about the entire experience in his blog, and one big thing that I noticed was how much Ariana had changed in the period of just 3 years. Apparently he and his daughters had actually met Ariana back in 2011 when she had fame from her Nickelodeon show but still had not peaked into the pop star that we know her as today. Dan described her as the nicest celebrity that he had ever met and displayed so much patience to take photos with his daughters. Unfortunately, this time around it was a disaster. His daughters had to find their own transportation, they were not allowed entry when they arrived, then they waited several hours after the agreed upon time to meet Ariana, and when she finally came out to see them, it got worse. She spent 15 seconds, maybe, with each contestant winner, took an approved photo after asking them to delete the first few, and then she just left. In number 8, Michael Jordan. Best known in Hollywood for his starring role in Space Jam, and a lot of people still love Michael Jordan for his basketball skills, one of his biggest fans was the rapper Chamillionaire, who actually ran into MJ at a party after a charity auction. However, when he approached Jordan for a photo, he said that this NBA legend completely shot him down. In fact, to be more specific, and according to Chamillionaire, Jordan said, "I ain't taking pictures with no N-word." Then when the rapper tried to explain that he was a huge fan and had just purchased a $7,000 commemorative Michael Jordan jersey, Michael just just responded with, "I'll tell you what, you pay me $15,000 right now for a jersey from me, and I'll take the picture with you." What a terrible attitude. In at number 7, Christina Aguilera. Some people may not remember this, but back in 2011, Christina Aguilera was judging on The Voice and for whatever reason could not contain herself. She asked country singer Patrick Thomas, who was 20 at the time, to take his pants off 3 times. Apparently she doesn't get any better when her fans are famous either. Actress Valerie Bertinelli said that she once approached Aguilera to say that she thought she was a beautiful singer, to which Christina paid no attention to and replied with, "Yeah, whatever." And to make matters worse, she completely trashed Lady Gaga back in 2008. As reported by the LA Times, she was asked about the allegations of her stealing Gaga's image while promoting Bionic. In response, she said, "You know, that's funny that you mentioned that. This person was just brought to my attention not too long ago. I'm not quite sure who this person is, to be honest. I don't know if it is a man or a woman, I just wasn't sure. I really don't spend any time on the internet, so I guess I live a little under a rock in that respect." A little bit, Christina. Just a tad. In at number 6, Sean Penn. Sean Penn is no stranger to letting his true colors shine bright. In 2009, he assaulted a paparazzi and vandalized his car. He once served 60 days in jail for punching a background actor and had to do 300 hours of community service for kicking another photographer. Then in 2013, while he was at a restaurant in a swanky San Francisco hotel, he witnessed a guy trying to just snap a photo. Must be a fan, and he just freaked out when he saw it. Is Sean Penn secretly a vampire that doesn't want his soul removed from taking photos? Like, I don't understand why he gets so angry, and I'll tell you why this is such a big deal. I understand how this could become very annoying after a while, but it still doesn't excuse this kind of disruptive behavior. According to TMZ, he walked over and slammed the man's phone on the table before telling him that he was going to make him eat his phone. Then as he was being escorted out of the restaurant, he yelled to the entire restaurant, "Do we look like zoo animals?" I mean, that is the definition of the word yikes, folks. In number 5, Cameron Diaz. Cameron Diaz has built up a nasty reputation of being notoriously reluctant to sign autographs, and she has said that she is against interacting with her fans at all. During the premiere of the movie Sex Tape in 2014, witnesses in attendance told Radar Online that the actress could not have been less interested in the fans. The weird thing was that the premiere was meant for the fans. It's not like these people followed her into a restaurant. She was scheduled to appear. Fans showed up early, waited outside for a glimpse, and then right when she was spotted by the fans, she outright refused autographs and told them, "If I did it for you, I'd have to do it for everyone." The fan that reported this info said, "Cameron was as unfriendly as can be, and it was really disappointing. There were literally only 4 or 5 fans waiting and asking for them when they left. It was not a huge crowd and would have taken them less time to sign an autograph or take a picture rather than giving a lecture about not doing it." Very true. In number 4, Tommy Lee. This is an interesting one because Tommy Lee kind of exposed himself for being an absolute nightmare, but it was his fans that provoked him to rant about not wanting to take photos with his fans. In an open letter posted to the band's Facebook page in June of 2012, Tommy said, "I f***ing love my fans, and you know this. If you asked anyone that knows me really well, they would tell you the same thing. Tommy loves his fans. He lives for this shit. He eats, breathes music 24/7. They'll also probably tell you that he's a down-to-earth, grateful, life-loving dude and a nice guy too. What I have a problem with is taking pictures. I hate it. Irritates the f*** out of me when people say, you owe it to your fans, they put you where you are, etc, etc. I certainly don't owe anybody anything. When I bought all my Led Zeppelin records and concert tickets, I didn't say, one day these f***ers are gonna owe me a picture. It's the least they can do for me. WTF, people, you don't admire something so that it can give back, you just cherish it. And to those who say, you should be grateful that people want to take your picture, maybe one day they won't want it. That day can't come soon enough. By the way, I'm not here to take pictures with you, I'm here to entertain you. I mean, it sounds like Tommy Lee just needs to take a nap, right? That just sounds like somebody who needs a nap. Just a quick power nap. And then that Facebook post would have never happened. In number 3, Martha Stewart. Reddit is always a nice place to read about honest accounts of meeting celebrities, and a user named Grateful Stickers posted this story and said, after waiting in line, my mother was refused an extra autograph, and she also wouldn't make out the one promised autograph to anyone but the person who was getting it. Even after explaining it was for her son, Martha refused. I could maybe understand if it was after signing 5,000 autographs or even 500, but it was a small event. That's only a small part of her being a bitch. At the very end of the event, as people were leaving, Martha Stewart was overheard talking to her mother, who happened to be with her. Martha's mom said, what should we do with all these floral arrangements? To which Martha replied, we take them or throw them out. These common people don't deserve them, far too expensive, and they wouldn't appreciate their beauty. Yep, she said common people. Oh, Martha Stewart. In at number 2, Stephen Morrissey. A few years before the Smiths became a band, Morrissey sent a very nasty message in response to a fan's ad in Sounds magazine in 1980. See, a man named Robert Mackey from Scotland had submitted a letter to Morrissey. The 21-year-old star then replied with his own letter that said, "Dear Pearson, so nice to know there's another soul out there, even if it is Glasgow. Does being Scottish bother you? Manchester is a lovely little place if you happen to be a bedridden deaf mute. I'm unhappy, hope you're unhappy too. In poverty, Stephen." Look, this is just a prime example of what I have said on this channel many times. When you recognize your own pain, you can see it more clearly in others. The fact that Morrissey says, "I'm unhappy, hope you're unhappy too," just makes it as clear as day that he was absolutely miserable, and that's why this poor fan got a miserable response. Last but certainly not least, our number 1 spot, Justin Bieber.
Fuck out the goddamn way, man. Damn.
Yes, that was Justin Bieber running over a photographer in his exotic car, showing zero regard for human life. On top of that heinous video, the star has also been known to spit on people he doesn't like, which sometimes includes his own fans. While at a hotel in Toronto with some friends, Justin took to his balcony where hundreds of people were desperately waiting outside to see a glimpse of the star, although he only emerged to hawk a loogie down towards them. After the disgusting act, the star seemed to be pleased with himself, turning to his group of admiring friends to laugh even. His impressed friends then joined in as they all crowded around and took a selfie on his phone just to remember the occasion, I guess.
In at number 10, Armie Hammer. Armie Hammer is definitely the actor that has been exposed the most in 2021. And at this point I think we can assume his career is probably over because of what has come out. Hammer shot to fame in his roles in Call Me By Your Name and The Social Network. But recently multiple women have come forward with disturbing allegations against Hammer, with many expressing that he had scary fetishes and many times he would take things too far for the women while he was intimate with them. There were even allegations surfacing that he might be a cam at one point. But the story got even darker last week when a woman came forward in a video press conference expressing that he forced himself on her for over 4 hours. Apparently during the incident he slammed her head into a wall and whipped her feet with a crop too, with her stating that she did not consent to these actions. As a result of the first string of allegations, Armie has stepped away from an upcoming film with Jennifer Lopez called Shotgun Wedding. As well, any project that he was due to be a part of has cut him. And with the seriousness of these allegations, he could very well be getting jail time for his actions. And at number 9, Anthony Mackie. Actor Anthony Mackie was recently exposed after an old clip of an interview he did with Wendy Williams resurfaced. The Marvel actor, known for his role as the Falcon in the MCU, faced backlash because many found the comments to be sexist, saying at one point in the interview that a woman's role was to, quote, make daddy a sandwich. And yes, he actually said the word daddy multiple times, which only made things worse. During the interview, Anthony and Wendy were having a conversation about gender roles in a relationship, and Anthony's responses were all very traditional. He even got into somewhat of an argument with Wendy, where he defended the mentality that both partners need to serve each other in some way, with him adding, quote, if I'm outside cutting that grass, bring daddy some lemonade. It's hot outside and I'm cutting all that grass. A lot of fans were taken aback by the actor's comments, calling them sexist and misogynistic, after he had a minor social media cancellation, but it didn't last long. And at number 8, Kate Hudson. Kate Hudson is getting tons of backlash after she starred in a controversial movie. The movie was created and directed by the singer Sia and is called Music. The film is about an autistic girl named Music, whom Hudson plays her older sister, and the film is getting backlash for being ableist. People specifically have taken issue with specific actions portrayed by Hudson in the film. The reaction against Hudson got even worse after it was announced that she was nominated for a Golden Globe Award for her performance. The hosts of the 2021 Golden Globes even made a comment against Hudson in their monologue, saying that Hudson's involvement in the film was the, quote, most offensive casting since Kate Hudson was a Weight Watchers spokesperson. Despite the backlash, Hudson still appeared on the telecast, saying that she loved making the movie, saying, quote, as an actress and a singer and dancer, it's everything you'd want to experience. And at number 7, Gina Carano. Gina Carano's controversial political views were exposed this year, and she was fired because of it. She was fired after she shared a controversial Instagram story, where she compared being conservative now to being Jewish in the Second World War. The post was an attempt to compare the events of the Second World War to cancel culture. Carano ended up taking the picture down, but the backlash had already begun. She was quickly fired from The Mandalorian and the Star Wars universe, as well as being dropped by her agency, United Talent Agency. An insider claimed that the production company had been looking for a reason to fire Carano after she became too controversial to handle, and that post was apparently the last straw. And at number 6, Justin Timberlake. Justin Timberlake's past actions were exposed after the recent documentary framing Britney Spears was released. The documentary centered around Britney's terrible treatment in the media and how the people in her life contributed to this, aka Justin. After the documentary came out, Britney's fans started to realize just how horrible Justin had treated her. Some of the clips included him speaking about their intimate relationship on late night talk shows when that was something that Britney was keeping private, as well as the fact that he used a Britney look-alike in the Cry Me a River music video after their breakup, which made everyone think that Britney had cheated. But Timberlake was not only exposed for treating Britney badly, but his handling of the infamous Janet Jackson Super Bowl scandal was also questioned, because Jackson's career was essentially ruined after that, but Timberlake got away scot-free. In response to all the backlash, he posted a lengthy apology to Instagram. However, many felt the apology was too little too late, and was only made because he was called out, not because he actually meant it. Halfway at number 5, Hilaria Baldwin. 2021 started off with maybe the strangest scandal ever, surrounding Hilaria Baldwin's background. After a long string of events, it was revealed that Hilaria Baldwin is not actually Spanish, like she claims. And in fact, her name isn't even Hilaria, it's just Hillary. And it seems she put on this fake Spanish persona to be more interesting and unique in the media. It was also revealed that her Spanish accent is most definitely a lie too. As Twitter began searching for the truth, it emerged that she was in fact actually born and raised as Hillary, not Hilaria, in Massachusetts. And her roots are American for many generations back. But in an interview, she claimed she moved here from Spain to go to NYU. In response to all the backlash, Hilaria addressed the situation, saying she was raised with two cultures, but she never actually commented on why she lied. And at number 4, Chris Harrison. Chris Harrison is the legendary host of the Bachelor franchise, but he was caught up in a major scandal after contestant Rachel Kirkconnell was exposed for racially insensitive actions. In the midst of this, Harrison was getting interviewed by a former bachelorette and black woman Rachel Lindsay, and Harrison was seen as aggressive and rude when talking about the issues. Harrison's take on the photos ended up making the whole scandal a lot worse. One of Harrison's controversial statements included, quote, "I've heard a lot of, I think she should, I think he should. Who the hell are you? Who are you to demand that?" People found his comments to be insensitive, and many said he was too quick to defend a contestant accused of racist actions. Chris ended up apologizing, but he was later cut from the franchise. And at number 3, Simon Cowell. The legendary American Idol host is known for turning everyday singers into stars, but his label was recently exposed for being toxic towards their artist. John and Edward Grimes, known as the music world as Jed Ward, went on a tweeting spree recently as they spilled the beans on Simon Cowell and his record label Psycho, with the pair saying that Simon and his label have been taking advantage of artists for years. We were also reminded that other artists like Cher Lloyd and Rebecca Ferguson spoke out about the bad conditions that they'd worked under while on contract. In their tweets, Jed Ward called One Direction survivors because of what they had endured. And at number 2, Maddie Ziegler. Maddie Ziegler is another actor who was a part of Sia's film Music that is now facing backlash. Ziegler has been a backup dancer for Sia for the last few years, so she was Sia's first choice to cast in the movie. However, Maddie got tons of backlash after agreeing to participate. In Music, Ziegler plays a nonverbal autistic teenager who comes under the care of her half-sister, played by Kate Hudson, after the death of their grandmother. When the trailer was released, it got immediate backlash from autism advocates, specifically for the fact that the lead role was not played by an autistic actor. Petitions sprung up on change.org to stop the release of the film, saying the film contributes to harmful stereotypes. Ziegler has not responded to the backlash, and it seems that she's doing everything possible to distance herself from the project. And finally, at number 1, JoJo Siwa. JoJo Siwa is a 17-year-old superstar that has made an entire brand around being kid-friendly and wholesome. So it was a shock to many when it was exposed that the questions in a board game she released were not so wholesome. The game, called JoJo's Juice, was released by Nickelodeon and manufactured by Spin Master in 2018. Questions in the Truth or Dare component of the game were exposed on TikTok, with some questions in the game saying things like, have you ever gone outside without underwear? And have you ever walked in on someone naked or had someone walk in on you? As well as questions asking most likely to date, if they'd ever stolen or been arrested, if they could twerk, and if they'd ever kissed a boy. According to Insider, Nickelodeon and Spin Master released a joint statement agreeing to stop production of the game. JoJo responded that she was not aware of the questions but was happy the game was being pulled.
Starting off our list today at number 10, we have alopecia. Just after the 2022 Oscars, the internet couldn't stop talking about the hair loss condition Jada Pinkett Smith is suffering from. With her journey of alopecia being openly documented, TikTok and Reddit users have gone on to prove that the star is lying about her condition. With users debating over images Jada has shared of her bald scalp when she was talking about her hair loss in a video shared on TikTok by Mariah Campbell, along with the caption, "Here is my celebrity conspiracy." The content creator can be heard saying, "I think she's completely lying about having alopecia because she's a cheater and wants people to focus on other things." Mariah then went on to say alopecia is patches, smooth patched, where the hair follicles don't grow, and she then started showing images of examples where viewers can see the type of round patches she's talking about. Mariah then went on to show a picture of Jada's head, where she pointed out that there's a line on her forehead, which the actress has explained in a previous video to be the result of her condition. Mariah then pointed out this line was most likely caused by cosmetic surgery and not alopecia. Her second argument would then prove that Jada was lying when she pointed out that if Jada had alopecia, she would have circular, bald patches, but she seems to have a lot of hair growth for someone who has alopecia, meaning she forced Will to smack Chris for no reason. Number 9. Racial bias reason. As we've all come to learn from the recent videos, it's that Jada Pinkett Smith hates white women with blonde hair, meaning she hates my very existence, especially now that I'm calling out for all of her lies. While Jada went on to explain her revelation back in 2018, she would sit down to discuss why seeing blonde hair on white women just triggers her, when she admitted to her own biases by saying, "I have to admit I'm guilty to that to a certain degree because I do have my own biases, specifically to blonde women. Blonde hair on white women just triggers me. I've had to catch myself." When her mother asked her if there was a specific incident that happened with someone who had blonde hair, the actress tried to claim that throughout her childhood she was teased by white women in regards to her hair and how she looked. But we all know she's just lying about why blonde hair women trigger her, as it's clearly just a sneak diss towards Margot Robbie. Hey my little peaches, are you liking this video so far? If so, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel so you never have to miss on what we might just cover next. Coming back to our list at number 8, we have the entanglement. Just after August Alsina came out to expose Jada for having an affair with her husband, Will Smith, Jada Pinkett Smith would soon come out to deny the singer August Alsina's claims that they were in a long-term relationship for years while she was still married to Will. After August spoke publicly about being involved with Jada Pinkett Smith, reps would soon come out with a statement calling the claims absolutely not true. Shortly later, Jada would then head over to her social media accounts to state that there was a lot of pain that needed to be discussed and that she would be taking herself to her famous Facebook watch series, The Red Table Talk. During the conversation, we would learn that the entanglement was in fact true, despite what her representatives led the public to believe in the beginning when Jada admitted to the affair, and when it finally came out, it obviously was all lies, as she also claimed Will never gave the pair his blessing. However, August Alsina has nothing to lose when it comes to his affair, so why would he lie about the issue? Number 7, the Oscar slap. With the infamous Oscar slap being what's been talked about for over a year now, makes us wonder if this incident is ever going to fade away. Probably not. With footage emerging from the Oscars online, it would show Jada Pinkett Smith had a really odd reaction to her husband Will Smith smacking Chris Rock on stage at the Oscars, which suggests that she forced her husband to make a stand for her. When Chris made a joke about Jada playing G.I. Jane because of her bald head, Chris was reportedly unaware of the actress being diagnosed with alopecia. So while we went on to laugh at Chris' joke in the beginning after he saw his wife roll his eyes, things quickly took a sharp turn for the worse. With the event being telecast live, the moment was so intense it didn't show Jada's initial reaction to the slap, or any of the interactions between her and Will beforehand. But now, videos have surfaced online, and in them, Jada can be seen laughing after Will took to the stage to slap Chris before going on to act just as confused as the rest of the audience, which proves Jada is shady and manipulative. Number 6, relationship with Tupac. For years now, Jada has been lying to the public about how serious her relationship was with Tupac. And honestly, it's gone a little too far as she keeps running her mouth with imaginary stories of the late rapper that make no sense. And it's gotten to the point she's even made her children believe that she would be happier if Tupac was still alive, as Willow even once wrote to the late rapper when she was 11 years old claiming so. With Jada and Tupac's relationship dating all the way back to the 80s when the two attended the same college, Jada has constantly stated that her relationship with Tupac has been strictly platonic, but then she tends to make her presence known whenever he starts to trend again online, which suggests that Tupac was more than just a friend. Especially since after Tupac passed away, his friends would come out to say how much Jada destroyed him when she left him for Will. And since a lot of Tupac's friends have been disgusted by the way she uses his name to draw attention to herself. 5. Not being pregnant. So many actors have admitted to lying to get a gig, and Jada happens to be one of these people. As she once revealed when she was offered the role of Niobe in The Matrix Reloaded, she was pregnant and kinda lied so she could secure the job. After the actor explained why she lost out on the role of Trinity in the original film as it came down to chemistry and she just had none when it came to acting with Keanu Reeves, she went on to explain that the Matrix directors were so impressed with Pinkett Smith that they created a role for her. But the role was actually supposed to go to Aliyah in the beginning, not Jada. Though the role was later given to Jada, she would have lost out on part of it if she had been 100% truthful, as the actor was pregnant with her daughter Willow at the time filming was required. And her being due in November, there was a small problem. Her daughter was due the same month. The film was supposed to start filming, so she lied, saying her baby was coming in October, so she would be ready by the end of November. Luckily, Willow came at the end of October, or things could have been a real mess for the production team. Number 4, loving Will. Lately, it's been pretty clear that Jada Pinkett Smith has never loved Will Smith. Now, I get it. You're all probably wondering to yourselves how I may have came to this conclusion. Well, just let me explain. I came to this conclusion because she's had an entanglement, and then she went on to put all of her business out on the table while diving into everyone else's business in the process during multiple episodes on her infamous Facebook watch series The Red Table Talk. But think about it, if Jada seriously loved Will, like truly loved him, she would have never let him run up on the stage and smack Chris. She would have never laughed about the overall situation, and honestly, Will would be happy, but instead they both look miserable with each other. So it shows that when she says she loves Will, she's truly lying to Will and herself. Number 3, being a good parent. For years, Jada has been trying to convince the public that she nailed the whole parenting thing, and that the way she approaches things as a mother is how every mother should be approaching their child. However, when Jada brought her children, Jaden and Willow, on the Red Table Talk, they would open up about how hard it was for them to have Jada and Will as parents, and how they found it difficult to grow up in a famous family. To the point her kids felt like there was seriously not enough support when it came to their artistic careers. And they wished that their family could have noticed they were struggling and gave them support. Instead of admitting to the problem, Jada then went on to blame the whole thing on Will Smith, for noting that they had different parenting skills due to the fact that they grew up with different backgrounds. But how you grow up shouldn't affect the way you parent your children, as we all have control over our own actions, and people can't affect that. Number 2, not being a Scientologist. For years, Jada Pinkett Smith has been lying about how involved she is with Scientology, with former Scientology members confirming that not only was Jada involved in the controversial religion, they've also pointed out she was actually a recruiter for the organization. While the star has been known to visit the Scientology Center from time to time, she's even tried to claim that she was just at the church out of curiosity and wanted to learn what she wanted to learn, and she didn't think of herself as being a Scientologist. However, with the actress helping the church open the new Leadership Academy in her own home, it would later be revealed by teachers and parents who pulled their kids out of the school that the school's curriculum followed the teachings of Scientologists. And if the actor wasn't a Scientologist, then why did she force her husband not only to open the school with her, but allow the church to open the academy in one of their homes and put her own children in it? It adds up. Number 1, Chris Rock. Just after Chris Rock released his brutal Netflix Selective Outrage special, Jada Pinkett Smith would try to take aim at the comedian by saying he was obsessed with her. However, we all know this just isn't the truth, because who's obsessed with Jada Pinkett Smith? As she would have a close source come out to point out that she had nothing to do with the drama between Chris and her husband, and the only part she ever had in this mess was the fact that Chris heckled her. The source then went on to try to claim that Chris was so obsessed with her for almost 30 years by pointing out when he filmed the special, it was in her hometown, and then he claimed how she should have been made fun of as she started this. as he argues she should have quit the Oscars. I mean, Chris is hurt, but I don't think he's ever been obsessed with Jada. As compared to some of the other celebrities he's heckled, he says her name way less. It just seems like Jada's trying to use anyone at this point to help her play victim, and that's exactly what she's doing in this situation.
Getting the countdown, number 10 is Machine Gun Kelly and Eminem. Unlike most celebrity feuds in Hollywood, these two didn't take their argument onto social media. They actually let each other have it through their song lyrics, or rap lyrics. Machine Gun Kelly released a diss track back in 2018 in an attempt to expose and insult Eminem. The song was called Rap Devil, and he used it to play off of Eminem's 2013 song Rap God. And rather than lashing out right away in the media, Eminem decided to respond with a diss track of his own. He later released a track called Kill Shot where he exposed MGK and basically annihilated him for even thinking that his diss track would be significant enough to affect his career. Honestly, I don't even follow rap artists that closely, but I did follow this and I gave them a listen at the time, and there is no comparison between their lyrics or skill. Am I right, Chris?
I agree.
Come on! Everyone was like, Machine Gun Kelly killed it. I'm like, bro, when you listen to Eminem's verse that, like, there's no comparison. Up next, number 9 is Bella Thorne and Mod Sun. Nothing like getting into an argument with your ex in front of the entire world, right? The exes got into a heated combo on Twitter after Mod Sun made a joke during an interview saying he was going to auction off her stuff on eBay. He said, I still have it, and I figure if she doesn't get it soon, I'm gonna have a really poppin' eBay site. But then Bella clapped back on Twitter and exposed him for apparently not allowing her to come get her stuff. She tweeted, "Aw, looks like Maudie really wants some press. Also, didn't you call the cops on me when I wanted my computer?" He then told his side of the story through a tweet explaining that she showed up to his house uninvited and that he did not trust her going into his house when he was not there, so he called the cops. Honestly, it really doesn't matter whose side of the story you believe. To me, this was just so unnecessary to share with the rest of the world. Like, I'm happy you did because it was intriguing, but not necessary. You know what? Being a celebrity in Hollywood, like after a breakup, you would have to worry about so much. Them exposing anything about you, number one. Your stuff, because they could sell it for real and make some bank. Anything. That's scary. Any nudes? Are you kidding? Oh no. Gives me anxiety. Signing into number 8 is Tyrese Gibson and Dwayne Johnson. The two of them went after each other back in 2017 when the Fast and Furious 9 movie got pushed back. Tyrese exposed Dwayne on Instagram, writing, "Congratulations at The Rock and your brother-in-law, aka $7, producing partner, for making the Fast and Furious franchise about you. Diversity love, multi-ethnic worldwide, multi-generational, United Nations, one race, fast family until Dwayne showed up." I guess this whole time he had a problem because he wasn't the only one on the movie poster. Dwayne went about the feud in a completely different way and actually was very surprised by it, and simply exposed Tyrese for how childish he was about the whole thing. He simply said that they've been friends for a really long time and that this feud was just one-sided. Honestly, I don't know if I believe that's why he was mad that he wasn't the only one on the poster. I don't know. I feel like that's a little much. Moving into number 7 is Cardi B and Nicki Minaj. I don't think any of us could forget the epic shoe-throwing fist fight they got into back in 2018. Fans only got to hear about the fight after it happened when video clips and photos surfaced online. The altercation happened at the Harper Bazaar Icons party after they both crossed paths on the red carpet and had something to say. After the news broke, the two of them went online to expose one another. Cardi said that Nicki made comments about her, calling her a bad mother, and that's why the two of them started going after each other. Nicki ended up exposing Cardi by accusing her of calling black women roaches and said women should not put other women down and girls get beat for that. Quote. They both had a lot to say about the incident and placed blame on the other person, but one thing they did agree on was that it was very embarrassing. And it was. That video clip of her throwing the shoe is just, oh, it's so funny. Cardi just chucks her shoe, because there's too much security, she can't get to her. So she takes off her heel and chucks it at her. Rolling into number 6 is Tati Westbrook and James Charles. The beauty community will never forget this epic battle back in 2019 that we recently learned should have never happened in the first place. Fans Things got serious quickly when Tati uploaded an incredibly long video to her YouTube where she tore James apart and accused him of some pretty serious things. She was upset that he promoted Sugar Bear Hair, which is a direct competitor with her brand, Halo Beauty, which he knew since they were close friends. But she did not stop there. She started to say that James was a threat to young people and that he tried to manipulate someone's sexuality with his celebrity status. James lost millions of followers in one day, and the world completely turned against him. He posted a response video where he exposed Tati for lying and tried to provide screenshots to show that she was lying and prove his case, but that still was not enough. The world was just really going in on him for a long time. Halfway through the list, number 5 is Kailyn Lowry and Janelle Evans. These Teen Mom 2 stars had a pretty nasty fight, and one that people thought was very petty. The whole argument went into flames on Twitter after Kailyn exposed that Janelle sent her a cease and desist letter the month prior. Janelle was posting stories on her social media about the paternity of Kailyn's son, and Kailyn tweeted at her saying, "Don't ever effing try to scare me with a cease and desist when you're posting this bullshit." Janelle exposed why the cease and desist letter was sent in the first place and said that she sent them to the entire cast of Teen Mom 2 because they were apparently saying negative things about her husband. For the record, her husband was actually kicked off the show for making homophobic comments, so in all honesty, Janelle's just kind of exposing herself and her marriage. Didn't quite work out. Oh my god, I know you don't follow Teen Mom, Chris, but down the road, Kailyn sent Janelle like her PR package because she started a brand, and Janelle in a live stream video set the whole thing on fire. Like in her backyard, like into flames. Yeah, like whoa. Anyways, fun fact. Making their way into number 4 is Chloe Moretz and Kim Kardashian. This one was so unexpected and random. It started after Kim posted a nude mirror selfie on social media, and Chloe felt the need to say something about it. The selfie was obviously a little censored, but Chloe did not approve of her post and made sure that everyone knew about it. Technically, Kim exposed herself with the nude photo, but Chloe commented on her post and wrote, "I truly hope you realize how important setting goals are for young women, teaching them we have so much more to offer than just our bodies." Kim quickly fired back, pointing out that Chloe posed nude for her Nylon magazine cover shoot. Just for some context, she was covered with a jacket over her body, but she was still nude underneath. Kim tweeted in response saying, "Let's all welcome Chloe Moretz to Twitter since no one knows who she is. Your nylon cover is cute, boo." Like, Kim's an adult, that's just so annoying to me. Anyways, Kim's family even got involved, and Khloe Kardashian started tweeting at Khloe, the other Khloe as well, and Khloe could just basically not keep up with all the Kardashians, if you know what I'm saying. If you know the show. That's a lot of Chloe's in that sentence, so people are gonna be like, what Chloe are you even talking about? In the 3rd spot on our list is Paris Hilton and Lindsay Lohan. The war between them started back in 2006 when Lindsay started to date Paris's ex-boyfriend. Since then, they have been taking plenty of shots at each other in different interviews. One common topic is the infamous paparazzi photos of Paris's night out with Britney Spears back in 2006. The pictures are honestly iconic, and they even include Lindsay Lohan. But Paris later exposed that apparently Lindsay crashed their night out and was never actually invited. But then Lindsay responded in her own interview and said Paris is a pathological liar and that they had planned the night out as a trio, which is why the media called them the Holy Trinity. The only person who could really confirm this for us is Britney Spears, but she hasn't, and I'm still waiting for her. That'd be like, great. Let's just ask her. Was it a three-way hangout, or did Lindsay crash the party? I really want to know. In spot number 2 is Neil Patrick Harris and James Woods. Another very random and unexpected feud that no one saw coming. Neil posted a photo of an 8-year-old boy with his family at a pride celebration, and James thought he should expose him for what he thought was threatening to our future generations. James tweeted in response to his post saying, "This is sweet. Wait until this poor kid grows up, realizes what you've done, and stuffs both of you dismembered into a freezer bag in the garage." Honestly, who in their right mind says something like that to someone? Like, I've said this to Chris before, the only type of person who will say this to someone is someone who would dismember people and stick them in their freezer. You gotta be crazy to be saying something like this on Twitter. Is it? not a fact. Exactly, crazy people. Like, that's what a crazy example of like, if you're like referencing something to put on Twitter. That's absurd. Anyways, rather than exposing Neil for anything, he actually just exposed himself for being arrogant and homophobic. So Neil didn't really have much left to expose, but he did respond and called him utterly ignorant and classless. I don't know how that guy's not blacklisted in Hollywood after a comment like that. In our number 1 spot is Taylor Swift and Kanye West. One of the biggest celebrity feuds in Hollywood history, and it all started after Kanye claimed that Taylor gave him permission to use a lyric about her in his track called Famous. The line was completely degrading towards Taylor, so it's hard to think that anyone would believe that she agreed to this. The two of them both tried to expose one another online by releasing video recordings of their phone call where they apparently had the discussion about the lyrics. Even Kanye's wife, Kim Kardashian, decided to leak a private snippet of the convo on her Snapchat to get all her followers involved. The whole thing led to a massive spike in social media attacks on Taylor, but in the end, the real unedited footage was released recently, which proved that she was telling the truth the entire time. But this was literally just revealed in March 2020, so she had to fight this battle for years. Alright guys, that's our list. Let me know what you're thinking down in the comments and leave a like if you enjoyed it. But for now, I'm gonna end this video with some comments from 10 celebrities supporting Joe Biden. Emma Oslin says, when Joss introduced Lucy, my brain went like, Lucy's back! Sorry, just for a day. I saw people's comments thinking that she's here permanently. She's not. Sorry, but maybe we'll do that, like sometimes. Have her come in. Heather P says, Joss got a degree in English. Also, Joss can't pronounce anything ever. That's alright, Joss. I am a streamer and I can never pronounce anything ever either. I knew I'd get comments like this and I deserve it. Honestly, I truly deserve this. I don't know how I minored in English. I don't understand. I actually got decent grades in English in university, which is beyond me. But I graduated 5 years ago and I think it just all went away. Reese Durazo says, Trump is still gonna win, but hey, I can be wrong. You know, there's a lot of people out there saying they think that Trump will still take this one despite, you know, all the chaos that's happening. Scary world. Alice Carroll says Lucy seems more comfortable around Joss, so that makes sense. Who yells the most? Well, honestly, Lucy and I are very good friends. We actually live together. We are roommates, so maybe that's why it's very comfortable because we're close friends. As for who yells, me. Lucy does not yell. I have yet to see Lucy yell or get angry or raise her voice. She's very calm, collected, and quiet and put together. I'm not. Alright guys, that is all I have. Make sure you subscribe, ring the bell, do all of the things. I'm your host, Joss. I will see you next time. Beginning our list number 10, we have Harry Styles. He doesn't seem like the type of celebrity to end up in the middle of online drama, and for the most part, he's stayed pretty quiet throughout his career. Which is why it was strange when someone decided to expose the singer and make up a weird story, saying that Harry paid him to go buy drinks at a sports game. Back in 2014, a Twitter user posted, just ran into Harry Styles at a Tigers game and he gave me $100 to get him 2 drinks, and I took the money and left. Hashtag swear to God. It's kind of obvious that he tweeted the story in an attempt to make himself look cool. I mean, taking anybody's money is not cool. But Harry was quick to shut down his story and he replied to the guy saying, I wasn't at the Tigers game. Cool story though. So really, the random guy got exposed in the end because Harry kinda like flipped a switch. Up next, number 9 is Beyonce. It's always a little disappointing when we find out that some of our favorite celebrities Photoshop their pictures. Even the queen herself, Beyonce, has been exposed online for altering her body shape in some of her Instagram posts, which to me is totally whack because she has a body that many people dream of having. In one of her posts, she posted a photo of herself sitting on a couch with a glass of wine, but fans were quick to point out that the wine glass and her cell phone were distorted in the picture, obviously in an attempt to trim down her thigh where they were placed. And then again, in one of her sexier posts, people exposed the fact that the stairs were altered in the background, which created a thigh gap for her. Girl, you do not need to do this to your body. Cruising into number 8 spot is Priyanka Jonas. Speaking of Photoshop, there are some people who will alter their own photos and have no issue with it, but then there's people who are totally against it. People on social media started calling out the actress for allowing her photos to be photoshopped in her Maxim magazine photo shoot. The 2016 cover photo had completely photoshopped her armpit out. Her arm looked like it was basically just growing out of her torso in one smooth motion. The Photoshop fail ended up going viral, and rather than commenting on the photoshopping that she had allegedly allowed, she posted a picture of her armpit. She tweeted out, "Here's another pit-stopping picture to add to the debate. Hashtag will the real armpit please stand up? Hashtag no filter. Hashtag armpit diaries." I mean, I think if anyone is to be exposed, it is Maxim for photoshopping out her armpit. Just leave her armpit. In at number 7 is Seth Rogen. This one is a little more difficult to take seriously. I honestly probably won't get through it without laughing. In 2018, the musician Kennedy Jones decided to expose Seth Rogen for DMing him with the word fart. You guys, I'm being so serious. Kennedy Jones tweeted out, "I just got a DM from Seth Rogen and it just says fart. Tuesdays are cool." There's no denying that accusing someone of DMing you the word fart is kind of funny, but also super random and a little bit weird. Seth didn't seem too bothered by claims, but he was bothered enough to want to respond. He replied to him and simply said, "No, you didn't." I guess being exposed for DMing someone the word fart would not be the end of the world. I just want to know if it's true or not. Show me the screenshot. Did he DM you the word fart, and why? Moving along to number 6 is Jimmy Kimmel. The talk show host got exposed for discussing something a little too personal in one of his interviews. Well, someone tried to expose him, but it didn't last too long. Huffington Post tagged the talk show host on Twitter and said, "Dear Jimmy Kimmel, Megan Fox's pregnancy is none of your business." For people seeing that tweet and not getting the whole story, it does make Jimmy look bad, like he tried to force Megan to talk about something personal that she didn't want to. But Jimmy ended up shutting down the rumors and tweeted a response saying, "Dear Huffington Post, Megan agreed to discuss this before the show, so F off." I just wonder what Megan's thinking. Like, why didn't Megan kind of like chime in and say, "Hey now, I agreed to talk about it"? We are halfway through at number 5 and we have Mark Hamill. The Star Wars legend is very active on social media, believe it or not. Not only does he enjoy interacting with his fans, but he also likes to troll a lot and is not afraid of speaking his mind. One thing he does not like though is when people try to put words in his mouth. Even if it's not anything bad, he just doesn't like it. So when Heroic Hollywood posted a headline about him on Twitter, he was quick to say his piece on it. Their tweet said, "Mark Hamill called Zack Snyder's Watchmen his favorite movie." It wasn't like it was some juicy rumor or any hot gossip, but apparently the actor did not want to be exposed for saying something that he didn't. So to make sure everyone knew, he tweeted a response and simply said, "No, I didn't." That is what you get for trying to put words in Mark Hamill's mouth. Rolling into number 4 spot is Dove Cameron. The Disney Channel star was dating Ryan McCartan for 4 years, and they got engaged for just 6 months before announcing that they had split. It seemed to be out of nowhere when they made the announcement back in 2016, and to say fans were disappointed was a major understatement. No one understood why they suddenly split since they were always gushing over each other in interviews. But fans were even more shocked when Dove started posting pictures of her and her new man, her co-star from Descendants 2, Thomas Doherty. One Twitter user exposed her for apparently being the reason for their split, and he commented her ex's name Ryan on a post of her and Thomas. Awkward. Dove responded to the Ryan comment and said, "Ryan was terrible to me." She went on to say that she is happier now, but that still does not stop people from accusing her for the failed relationship. In our 3rd spot is the one and only Britney Spears. It's no secret that the pop icon has a nice body. She's been flaunting it for many years. She's always been into fitness, and even after having kids, she still posts her workout routines on Instagram and shows her followers how she stays in such great shape. So it was a little weird for fans when they noticed that she had completely airbrushed a 6-pack of abs on her stomach. Britney posted a candid picture of her performing at one of her shows in Vegas and captioned it, "Wow, perfect audience for the first Piece of Me show. That was amazing. I love you, Vegas." Fans were quick to expose her for airbrushing her abs because if you look closely, the lines are very dark and obviously drawn on. We're still not sure why she did it since she has a toned stomach to begin with, but to each their own. Winning the 2nd spot on our list is Elon Musk. You would have to be a fool to try and make a famous celebrity with an active interest in tech the punchline of your tech news headline. Wired tried to expose the tech guru on Twitter and posted a headline about public transportation, claiming that Elon doesn't like the mass transit system. They tweeted, "Does a public transit builder actually have to love the idea of public transportation? Elon Musk really doesn't like mass transit systems." The article went on to claim that he was trying to construct tunnels around the country and is actually unimpressed with the basic concept of shared public transportation. But lesson learned, do not mess with Elon Musk. He posted an angry response to them, which ended with, "This is why I stopped following Wired long ago. There are way better tech pubs out there. Hard to say if they lost followers or not. Probably did." In our number 1 spot is Kanye West. He was recently exposed online after footage leaked that finally put his feud with Taylor Swift to an end. The long-running feud between Kanye, Kim Kardashian, and Taylor was finally put to rest after extended footage of their infamous phone call was recently leaked online. The original feud started after Kanye's lyrics in his song Famous called Taylor a B-word. The ongoing debate has been that Kanye claimed he called Taylor and asked her for permission to use the lyrics and that she agreed to it. Taylor obviously denied that he told her the lyrics, and many people called Taylor a liar and took Kanye's side. But the truth has come out in footage that was leaked online, which showed that Kanye never asked for permission to call her the B-word in the lyrics. Obviously, no girl's gonna be like, "Yeah, sure, call me that." Kim K felt the need to defend her husband once again and still continued to make excuses for the footage, but no one was buying it, and Taylor finally got the revenge just to buy the truth. Turns out the previously leaked footage was actually edited and manipulated to make Taylor look like she was lying. But the truth always comes out with a little help from social media.